Okay, I'm rolling
All right.
to do your stuff, and we're good.
Where should I look?
Look at me.
Okay.
And then, yeah, I'll just ask you a couple of questions about the governor. Do you mind if I start to ask you just about the, I know that you're going to be running for state senate as well. Do you mind if I ask a little bit about
Whatever you want. I'm glad to ask, yes.
Perfect. So first of all, what are your thoughts on the governor's first legislative session?
Well, I'm really disappointed with the budget. I think it's going to hurt a lot of people across Washington State with all the tax increases. Tax increases on businesses, on income, on services, sales taxes, property taxes, gas taxes. I believe that the budget is going to hurt a lot of families across Washington State, and I think it's a bad idea, and I wish the governor would have vetoed it.
With all these budget increases, do you think that they're going to the right place, though?
No, I don't think there's a deficit in Olympia. There's twice as much money in Olympia now as there was 10 years ago. $78 billion. We can fund our priorities with a lot less. And what's even more disappointing is that we are not even funding some of our priorities, like rural public schools, which were significantly underfunded in the budget.
Okay. Do you think that the governor did what he said he would do back when he started his term?
With respect to the budget?
Respect to the budget and, well, other bills that passed.
I was hoping that the governor would veto more items and more of the tax increases from the budget. I was under the impression that the governor was focused on making Washington more affordable for working families, and instead it's going to be more unaffordable for working families with all the tax increases that remained in the budget that he did not veto.
Okay. Have you actually spoken with the governor yet?
No.
Okay.
Not about the budget.
How about anything in general?
Earlier in the session, I spoke to him.
Okay. Based on that conversation, do you think that he's done exactly what you thought he would do, or did he sort of differ from that conversation?
The most important thing to me this legislative session was to save the Yakima Valley School, which is a school in Selah for developmentally and intellectually disabled individuals and their families. We were able to save that. That was a really important priority for me, and I'm really proud of that. I believe that Governor Ferguson thought that we needed more taxes, and we don't. And so I'm disappointed that all the tax increases that the Seattle Democrats put in place were signed off on by Governor Ferguson. They're going to hurt working families. The gas taxes, the property taxes, the business taxes, and the sales taxes.
Did that come as a surprise to you that he signed off for all those increases? Or did you think he would do something else?
I don't know. I'm always optimistic that things are going to go the way that they should. But unfortunately, Seattle Democrats and the governor decided to sign off on a budget that includes significant tax increases on working families, and I was disappointed with that.
Do you feel that Washington is better, let me reword that. Do you think that right now Washington is headed in a better direction as opposed to when the governor was sworn in?
I believe that Washington is heading in the wrong direction with all these tax increases. We have to do more for our working families. We have to do more to encourage businesses and individuals and families to want to stay in the state. The budget that the governor signed yesterday goes in the wrong direction for that. It's going to encourage people to leave Washington State, and it's going to raise taxes on millions of families and individuals across our state. That's the wrong direction for Washington State, in my view.
Is this a different direction than it would have been going, say, if maybe Inslee or somebody else was a governor?
I would like to see property tax cuts. I would like to see a governor who will cut property taxes and who will not increase taxes and will focus on prioritizing spending on public safety, infrastructure, rural public schools, and taking care of the most vulnerable.
Do you think that the governor, or any Democrats for that matter, listened to you during this session?
Yes. Originally in the budget, they were going to close the Yakima Valley School. Myself and my colleagues from Yakima County worked very hard to make sure that that did not happen, and we were successful, and ultimately the majority party went along and took that closure out of the budget, and I'm so glad for developmentally and intellectually disabled families across Washington State who will now still have the Selah Yakima Valley School as a resource to help them in their times of need and crisis.
Is that the only win you've had this session?
One of the things that I'm really pleased with this session is also the amount of resources that we were able to put into important projects in Yakima Valley, like making sure that we're increasing our water storage needs, making sure that we're funding construction of public schools, boys and girls clubs, wastewater treatment facilities, and some road infrastructure. We were able to get those included in some of the budgets, and I'm very pleased with that. I'm also pleased that we stopped a really bad property tax increase that could have seen property taxes go up by 50%. Still disappointed that they're going to be going up by 10 or 20%, and I do not support that and wish that had been taken out. But a proposal originally at the beginning of the session was to increase property taxes by 50%, and that we were able to stop.
Do you think that, so far, do you think that Ferguson is just another Democratic governor? Or do you think that he's different from other past governors of our state?
I take people as their actions, and what happened yesterday was the governor signed a budget that increased property taxes on a lot of families across Washington state. I'm strongly opposed to that, and I wish he had done otherwise. We'll see how it plays out here in the next coming years, but as far as this budget, I'm very disappointed, and I wish that it had been vetoed.
We've been speaking a lot about the budget, and especially about the property taxes. However, is there any other part of the governor's job that you have an opinion on?
I wish the governor would do things that were more impactful for all of Washington state instead of focusing on priorities for Western Washington. I think we saw that with a lot of the items in the budget and just in general with some of the policies. We saw rural public schools underfunded. We saw facilities in the Yakima Valley closed and others that are proposed to be closed that we were able to stop. I would invite and I would encourage Governor Ferguson to come to Central Washington and see some of these schools, see some of these facilities, and hopefully Seattle Democrats and Governor Ferguson take into account the needs of Central Washington and Eastern Washington in future budget cycles and in future legislative sessions.
Okay. And then you're running for the state senate. How did that decision come along?
I decided to run for the state senate because there is no one in my district who is currently in that seat. With the redistricting, the current senator was moved out of the district. I think that redistricting was a very unfortunate process. I got moved out of my district originally, but where it stands now, I have an opportunity to represent the people of my community in the state senate, and I'm a lifelong resident of the Yakima Valley, and I want to make sure that the Yakima Valley continues to have strong, effective, conservative representation in Olympia, and I believe I can bring that to the Senate, and I'll be grateful if the people agree with me on that.
Okay, this one might be a dumb question on my part, but what is the difference between the jobs of a state senator versus a House representative?
A state senator is, there's 49 state senators and there's 98 state representatives, and the senators and the representatives represent the exact same district. So I will, if elected, I will have the opportunity to represent the same constituents that I represent now, only I will be doing that in the Senate instead of in the House.
Okay, so essentially it's the same thing but a different chamber.
Different chamber, yes.
Okay.
Different responsibilities. Senate approves confirmations to certain cabinet positions and other things like that.
Okay. Why did you decide to, why did you decide to run for the state senate instead of going for your current position again?
Well, I believe that the state senate has an opportunity to be more impactful. Your voice is essentially twice as powerful because there's half the number of senators than there are representatives. And I want to be a strong voice for Central Washington and for the values of our community and the values of the Yakima Valley.
Is this a decision that you made pretty quickly, or did you sort of think a little bit about what you wanted to do in Olympia before deciding to run?
When the opportunity presented itself, I took it. I've represented Washington, the 15th district in the legislature for 5 years now, and this was an opportunity that seemed like it would help me be an even better voice, a better and stronger advocate for our community and the values that I believe are shared widely across our community.
All right, and that's about all the questions I have. Is there anything that I missed that you'd like to speak about?
Oh, that's it. Thank you so much, John. I appreciate the opportunity to come visit with you today.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right, should be good.
Okay. Hey, thanks a
so
lot.
much.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I really appreciate it too, especially on short notice today.
Yeah, anytime. Let me know anytime you need anything. I'm happy to come out and talk about whatever's important at the moment. So,
Yeah.